Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is VaShon and I'm a graduate of Bermuda Institute's class of 2011 and the recipient of the Renaissance Undergraduate Scholarship. I'm just going to give you a few tips on how I was successful and how anyone can be successful when applying for scholarships. So firstly, in order to apply for a scholarship, you have to know what scholarships are out there. The three main resources I used were bermudascholarships.com, the scholarship booklet, and of course word of mouth. Bermudascholarships.com is a pretty nifty website. You can log on, create an account, upload all of your paperwork, and apply directly online without an application process. It also lists most of the scholarships that are available in Bermuda. Next, the scholarship booklet. This was particularly helpful when it came to scholarships that were not online. I know Bank of Bermuda, you had to do a written application, so the scholarship booklet gave deadlines, places where it had to be handed in. And of course, word of mouth. Feel free to ask aunts, uncles, cousins if the businesses are doing any type of scholarships and whether you would be a valid candidate for those scholarships. I've broken it down into two main phases of scholarships. You have the application phase and the interview phase. So during the application phase, you have to acquire a lot of paperwork. Some require acceptance letters, proof of citizenship, references, transcripts, those type of things. So when it comes to references, do not ask someone for a reference 2 days before it's due. Try to give them perhaps 2 or 3 weeks. That way, they're working with busy deadlines. You're trying to meet a deadline as well. Give them a bit of time. With your essay, ensure that your essay has a very nice attention grabber somewhere in the very beginning. My particular one that I used was as follows. As the last of 8 boys, I was plunged into a legacy of excellence and imbued with a competitive drive for success. I guess it did its job. Also in your essay, include community service activities, leadership activities, special talents. I referenced grades, transcripts earlier. If your grades are not where they should be, you're okay. You can make up for this with your leadership experience, your community service. Those things can cover your grades, the grace. So the next phase is the interviews. Between there, you have what I guess what could be called the correspondence phase. During that time, you're either receiving an email to say you've been selected for an interview, or you're receiving an email to say that you did not. Regardless, be polite with your correspondence. Address whoever it is, Sir, Mr. Correct lettermanship. Next, the interview process. So, interview, of course, be polite. You walk in, address the receptionist, politely address your interviewer, whoever calls you into the room as well. It would be good if you knew a bit about the scholarship itself. For the Bank of Butterfield scholarships, the Harry D. Butterfield, Sir Dudley Sperling, I actually went to the library about half an hour before and just read a little bit about my scholarship so that I knew who these people were, what they did. Remember, interviews are conversations, so feel free to be friendly, smile. Smiling's quite alright. You'll be a bit nervous, but nervousness is good. So the key is to being confident without being cocky. So find a way to balance what you have with that boastfulness that you need to pack away. Lastly, pause before answering a question. It's okay to take a break. You can tell your interviewer, can I get 1 second to think about it? I will put my head down a little bit and just think for a second and then answer. If you answer too hastily, you're going to make a fool of yourself. So, a few questions that they would ask. Tell us a bit about yourself. What is your greatest failure or success, and what did you learn? What are some strengths and weaknesses? And explain how or why something has happened. Once you hand in those papers, anything can be pulled from them. Any experience that you've had, community service, any of your leadership skills, that's all fair game. So they may ask questions, be able to answer any questions about the things you've handed in. Another question, who has inspired you and why? So these are just some questions that came up in most of my interviews. So things that you can practice at home, work on with you in front of the mirror, perhaps with a teacher, to get a solid answer ready. Another question, big question, why do you deserve this scholarship over other recipients? That's a nice one. So yeah, definitely find someone to talk it over with, practice it a bit before you get to the interview situation. The last part of the interview is questions that you have prepared for your interviewer. So might be clarification on any scholarship information that was not mentioned. Maybe you want to know whether you can accept this scholarship along with another one. You might want to know whether you have to reapply every year. You might want to know, does it include any networking, internship, peer mentorship type of programs? What comes along with the scholarship. Also, you might have questions based on the conversation that you just finished. Perhaps there was an interviewer that was in your field. You can specifically ask them a question about their job experience, or how they began, or perhaps their major in college, that type of direction. You can also turn some of their questions back at them. What were some of their goals, some of their role models? And if it's a scholarship based on community service, you could ask what the business is doing concerning community service, those types of things, current events. Yeah, so at the end, always just make sure that you have a question prepared for them. And if you're bringing up a new question, make sure you're ready to answer it yourself as well. So lastly, just a few tips: firm handshake, good eye contact, complete honesty with a bit of humor, it goes a long way, smile, polite email correspondence, apply for as many as possible. BermudaScholarships.com makes that very easy. You can apply for a numerous amount of scholarships. For written applications, keep it clean. If you have to scratch anything out, start over. Of course, sending a completed application by the deadline. And if you're in perhaps a sophomore or junior year, don't wait to start getting your scholarship information ready. Start now by joining extracurricular activities, working hard on your grades, so that by the time you're ready to apply for scholarships, you're in a good position. So I hope this has been helpful, and all the best to you in your scholarship endeavors. Thank you.